Well, hello everybody. This is a different kind of presentation. Doing this as a shout out to Beatles Eternally, since he is a DeadBall fanatic, or not fanatic, but he's just a fan of that era. So I thought I would, and he kind of got me sort of interested in it as well, to a certain extent, not hog wild, but certainly to a certain extent. So one of the things I really enjoy about History Maker Baseball is creating my own cards, and of course the 1908 season gave me an excuse to make these cards. So that's what I did. And so since I made them, I may as well use them, right? I mean, what's the point of making something if you're not going to ever use it? At least that's my philosophy on that. Working on a setup to make sure everything looks like it's all right. I don't know what else to do as far as this to try to get both boards in the game. 1908 is the year. 1908. One of the better pennant races in Major League history happened in 1908, particularly in the National League. But this is an American League game between the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers. I don't know how well it comes up on the stream, but I did make the White Sox in their home white uniforms, and I made the Tigers in their road gray uniforms. I don't know, like I said, don't know how well that shows up, but that's just the way it is. We got the logos in there best I could. Back in the day, their logos weren't that fancy. I looked up the box score. Hello, midlife. I looked up the box score on this game. There were only two umpires that were listed. So I'm assuming they had a home plate umpire and one guy that patrolled all the bases. Don't know how he did it, but he did it. So the home plate umpire is Silk O'Laughlin. Yes, that's his name. You can look it up. Silk O'Laughlin. And Jack Egan is the other umpire on the base paths. The White Sox won this game real world 15-8. The game is played at Southside Park, but since it goes back that far, History Maker did not rate Southside Park for any ballpark rating, so I don't know if it was big, small, or whatever. So the general consensus rule of thumb is if you don't know, you make it neutral. So that's what I'm doing. Same with the umpires. I have no idea what kind of umpires Silk O'Laughlin or Jack Egan was. So I take that back. I'm going to make them, in my mind's eye, the umpires back then didn't take any guff. So I'm making them strict and respected. Both umpires are going to be strict and respected for umpire duties. Normally I'd make them neutral, but I'm just thinking back in the day, those guys didn't take any guff from anybody. So I'm making them strict and respected for both the umpires. And if it's a home plate call, it'll be Silk O'Laughlin. If it's any of the three bases, it will be Jack Egan that we go to. I know very little about any of these players. There's a few guys like Ty Cobb and stuff like that I know about, but most of the other guys I know nothing about. So it's a learning process for me. I had to look at their stats and kind of, ballpark their ratings. So they're not, they may not be 100% totally there, but they're close enough. So Doc White, a left-hander, is on the mound for the White Sox, and Ed Seaver, a left-hander, is on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. We will look at the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Tigers, leading off and playing left field is Matty McIntyre. Batting second and playing second base is Germany Schaefer. Hitting third and center field is Sad Sam Crawford. I guess they call him Sad Sam Crawford. I'm not sure. Sudden Sam, I think, was Sam McDowell. I think he might have been Sad Sam Crawford. Batting cleanup in right field is Ty Cobb, of course. Claude Rossman is at first base. He will hit fifth. Bill Coughlin is at third base. He will hit seventh. Ira Thomas is the catcher. Coughlin will hit sixth. Ira Thomas, the catcher, will hit seventh. Charlie O'Leary, the shortstop, will hit eighth, and batting ninth will be Ed Seaver. For the Chicago White Sox, Ed Hahn is in right field. Fielder Jones is in center field. Patsy Doherty is in left field. Batting cleanup, it looks like it's pronounced Freddie Parent, but it could be Parent if he's like a hockey player. It might be Parent. So this could be Freddie Parent. I'm not sure if it's Parent or Parent. I have no idea. But he's at shortstop batting cleanup. Jake Atz, ATZ, is the second baseman. He will hit fifth. Jiggs Donahue is at first base, and he will bat 6th. Lee Tannehill, the third baseman, will bat 7th. And Billy Sullivan, the catcher, will hit 8th, with Doc White, the pitcher, batting 9th. Got the benches in the bullpen here. Hello, Joel. Sam Crawford is the number 1 guy in triples. Cool. Jack Evans was highly regarded. Or Jack Egan, you mean. Jack Egan is his name. Jack Egan is highly regarded. Well, I'm making them both respected and strict. That's what I'm doing for this one. Like I said, normally if I don't know the quality, I make them neutral. But in this case, I'm going to decide to make them respected and strict. So if we get an umpire call, it will be respected and strict. And I'm going to read the results off camera because it's just easier to do it instead of trying to bring the book in all the time. Hopefully by now, as much as this game has been out and other people have played it besides me, like Steve Tower and Al Wilson and a few others have played this game, there's videos out there. So hopefully we don't need a how-to thing here. I am rating Southside Park to be neutral to both righties and lefties because History Maker did not rate it. So I'm going to make it neutral just by default. And so now we're ready to go. Matty McIntyre, a left-handed hitter playing left field, will be in there against Doc White, a left-hander as well. So lefty-on-lefty matchup from Southside Park in Chicago, and we're ready to go. We get a 3-4-5. That's asking, is the catcher iron? The catcher for the White Sox is Sullivan. He's actually gold, so he's not iron. Does McIntyre have a good eye? No, he does not. So it'll be a strikeout. So there aren't that many strikeouts in the dead ball era because a lot of guys put the ball in play, but this time Doc White was able to get the strikeout there. That result was in blue, which normally go to the right now chart, but my house rule is I don't go there until everybody has had an at bat. Everybody starting lineup has had an at bat. That way you got history to go by. So Germany Schaefer, second baseman, will step in. And that is a 2-2-4. And that asks, is he pitching at home? Yes, Doc White is pitching at home, so it's a pop out to short. So a little bit of home cooking right there, get an advantage. That's the one role on the game where you get the home team gets the advantage. So 2 up and 2 down for Sam Crawford. Sam Crawford, the center fielder. 3-4-6. Blank for the pitcher. Is he eager? Sam Crawford is semi-eager. Decided says he is, so he'll fly to center. He will not draw the base on balls, and that's going to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Doc White. Takes care of the White Sox, of the Tigers in the first. And now Ed Seaver comes out, and he'll be facing Ed Hahn. Hahn, the right fielder, another lefty-on-lefty matchup. 2-4-6. It's asking, does the pitcher have control? Seaver has control, so it'll be a ground ball back to the mound, and that's 1 away. He is a control pitcher. Here's Fielder Jones, who I believe was also the manager. I believe he was the player manager of this team. 1-6-6 is the pitcher Workman. No, he's a semi-star. Is the batter a whiffer? No, you're not going to find too many whiffers in the dead ball era. So it's ground ball to third, and that is going to make it 2 away. Now, that results in red, so we are going to the experience chart. That I will go to. Icon pitcher, icon batter. So icon against icon on the experience roll. And we get a 2-3. Prospect pitcher. No, he's an icon pitcher. If he was a prospect pitcher, a momentary lapse in focus, and he'd give up a single. Otherwise, it's a ground out to second. And both teams go 3 up, 3 down in their halves of the first inning. So we go to the top of the second. And it'll be Mr. Ty Cobb stepping to the plate for the Tigers. 1, 2, 3. That is flash and fresh quality for the pitcher, White. He is fresh, but he does not have the flash quality, so there's not going to be a strikeout there. Let's see here. So instead, it's going to be a ground ball to short by Cobb. That one, the batter was blank, so Cobb had no choice. Here's Claude Rossman. And we get a 1-3-4. Is the catcher gold? Yes, Billy Sullivan is gold, so it will be a strikeout unless he has a good eye, which he does not have. So Rossman will strike out. That's the second strikeout for Doc White. So that'll send up Bill Coughlin, third baseman. 146. Does the pitcher have flash? No, he does not have the flash. Is he a champion batter? No, he's actually a utility. So he will ground to second, and that will end the inning. So another 3-up, 3-down inning for Doc White. Go to the bottom of the second, no score from Southside Park in Chicago. Here's Freddie Parent or Parent. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. He is a shortstop. That part I'm sure of. 245 is blank for the pitcher. Is he a hero? He is a utility, not a hero. So he'll pop out to second base. That's one away, and it is in red, so we're going back to the experience chart. Atz is neutral, and Seaver's an icon, so the pitcher has the advantage, as he is the icon, and Atz is normal. And so 1-5. Ask, is it a prospect batter? No, he's normal. He's not a prospect batter. If he was a prospect batter, he would have lost focus and swung at a junk pitch and lined out. But since he's not a prospect, he will stroke a single. So the first hit of the game belongs to Jake Atz, as he was not a prospect, so he was able to get that hit. Had he been a prospect, he would have made an out, but otherwise he got the hit. And here comes Jiggs Donahue. You got to love some of these names of these players back in the day. 455. 455 is asking, does the pitcher have flash? Seaver does not have flash. Is he a home run king? No, he's not a home run king. So he will ground to second, and a lead die of 4. That means the base runner is going to advance to second base. So it's a 4-3 ground out with the runner advancing. So we got a runner at second base and 2 outs for Lee Tannehill. No score here in the bottom of the second. This is the only one I've created so far, is 1908. Takes a long time to create these things, but 1908 was the one that interested me the most. 346, asking, is he eager? Tannehill is eager, so he will fly to center, and that will end the inning. So nothing doing for the White Sox. They get a runner on, but can't make anything happen. And now we go to the top of the third. It'll be Ira Thomas, the catcher, stepping up for Detroit. 1-3-4. Gold catcher. Yes, Billy Sullivan is gold, so it'll be another strikeout. He doesn't have the good eye, so he can't fend it off. Third strikeout for Doc White. Comes Charlie O'Leary, the shortstop. And like I said, I know very little about any of these players other than maybe, Ty Cobb. O'Leary, 2-2-3. Is the pitcher wild? No, he's not wild. He's got control. Is he slugger or utility? He is a scrapper. He's neither one. So he's going to single to left field. If he's active, he would steal, but he's not an active runner. So we get a single for O'Leary. A 1-out single by O'Leary. And that's going to bring up Ed Seaver, the pitcher, to hit. There's already 1 out, so I don't see any reason to bunt. They're just going to have him swing away. 2-5-6. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. It's a batter champion or patient. Neither one of those. So we have infield drama for the White Sox. First infield drama chart. First drama chart of any kind on the White Sox. In their infield, Parent or Parent, what do you want to call him, is iron. Atz is semi-iron, and Donahue is semi-gold. So let's see if these semis, nope, they're going to be neutral. So the only one who's iron is Parent at short. The other two, everybody else is neutral. So they want to stay away from a shortstop check. 3-5. Third baseman, iron. No, he is third baseman. Tannehill is actually neutral, so he's not iron. So it's not going to get past him for a single. It's going to be a routine ground out. And with a lead die of 3, we're talking about a fielder's choice. So Seavers will reach on the fielder's choice, and out at second is O'Leary, 5-4 on the fielder's choice. That brings up Matty McIntyre, runner on and 2 outs. No score here in the top of the third. 1-3-6. That's asking, I believe, if he's an ace. Let's see. Yes, is the pitcher an ace? He's a semi-ace. The dot gives it to him, so he is an ace. It will be a strikeout unless he has a good eye, which he does not have. So that is strikeout number 4 for Doc White. He's getting the strikeout ball going for him in this game. So Doc White takes care of the Tigers. And in this game, normally the starting pitchers get freshness for 3 innings, but when you go back to the older seasons, they suggest you give them 4 innings. So each starter will get 4 innings of full freshness. All right, here's Billy Sullivan, that gold catcher. Going to lead things off. 1-1-6. Is he fresh? Yes. We're in the 3rd inning. He's certainly fresh, so that's a strikeout. And that'll be the first strikeout by Ed Seaver. And now Doc White will pick up a bat and he will hit. Oh, no, I don't do express. To me, express is a waste of time. I wouldn't, I mean, if people like it, go for it, but there's no reason to express baseball. Baseball gets played fast enough. You express football because it takes 3 hours. You don't express baseball when it takes 20 minutes to play a game, 30 minutes tops. So here's Doc White. 4-6-6. Does the pitcher have control? Seaver has control, so his pitch is going to be read for a single to left field. So Doc White, the pitcher, gets himself a base hit. How about that? That's akin to in Strat-O-Matic where the pitcher gets a hit off the pitcher card instead of off the batter card. So White's at first with Ed Hahn, the batter. 2-5-6. Struggler pitcher? No. Is he champion or patient? Neither one. We got infield drama again, this time for the Tigers. And in their infield, let's see if any of those partial guys are going to be fully. Yep, they will be. So Schaefer is semi-iron. He now becomes iron. And so does Coughlin, who was semi-iron. So all 3 infielders for the Tigers, second, short, and third, are all iron. First base is the only one that's not iron. We get a 3-6 on the infield drama. Third baseman, gold. No, he's not gold. So it's going to be an error. It'll be a 1-base error on the third baseman. And that will be Coughlin. So it's an E5 on Coughlin. And that's going to put runners at first and second with only 1 out. And that'll bring up fielder Jones. Oh, this is actual game with actual lineups. It is a one-off in a sense that I'm not doing a season replay. I'm just showing the cards and seeing how History Maker handles the dead ball season. But these are the as-played lineups per Baseball Reference. These are the as-played lineups, and I've got the as-played benches and bullpens. The guys that were actually available for this game are on the side here. So guys that were on the roster yet, they're not on this thing here. But these are actual lineups. All right, here is fielder Jones. 4-5-5. Does the pitcher have flash? Seaver does not have the flash quality. Is he a home run king? No, he's a scrapper. So he's going to ground to first, and that does move the base runners up because when you have a lead die of 4, all base runners advance. So he grounds out. It does move the runners up to second and third, but now there are 2 outs, and it's going to be all up to Patsy Doherty with 2 outs and 2 on. Patsy Doherty. Yes, these are cards. These are cards I created using the Excel file, which you can get free from the play.com community. I did kind of doctor them up with the what do you call it? The logos and stuff. And I did use the player creator book that they sell that helps you formulate how to create the players based on their numbers. Here's Doherty. 1-2-6. Is he fresh? Yes, he is. So that's going to be a line out to second base, and that will end the inning. So Doherty hit it hard, but he lines out, and that will end the inning. So 3 complete here at Tiger Stadium, or not Tiger Stadium, so you're saying Tiger Stadium, from Southside Park in Chicago. And we go to the 4th, no score. Now, this is the final inning of full freshness for these starting pitchers. You can go 4 innings with full freshness on the older seasons. So Germany Schaefer steps to the plate. 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer? He's a semi-whiffer. The dot says he is. So Doc White picks up his 5th strikeout. Wow, a lot of strikeout. And he does not have the flash quality, but he's getting some good rolls, and the Tigers are just swinging at bad pitches. So that brings up Sam Crawford. Oops. Dropped one of my D6s. Where did that go? There it is. All right, here's Sam Crawford with Ty Cobb on deck. 5.66. Is the pitcher wild? No, he's got control. Does he have a good eye? Crawford does have a good eye, so it's a foul tip, and he stays alive at the plate. He would have struck out without the good eye, but he has the good eye. So he'll swing again. 3.55. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is he a champion? He's a semi-champion, but the dot doesn't give it to him this time. So he's going to ground out to second base, and that will be out number 2. So 2 down, and that brings up Ty Cobb. $1.45. Ask, is the pitcher a struggler? No, he isn't. It's a ground ball to first. Second time, both times Ty Cobb, I think, have rolled for 1.45 on both of his at-bats where he really had no say in the matter. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. All right, here is Freddie Parent. I do have 1908 on the computer on PC Replay and on Action PC Baseball. I've got them both on the computer. I don't have any company card sets for 1908. I know Replay Baseball makes it. I know Fall Classic makes it, and APA makes it, but I don't have the cards in any of those particular companies. Here's Freddie Parent or Parent. Like I said, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. 2.35. Pitcher's not wild. Is he eager? He is semi-eager, but the dot says no, so he's not eager. So he will ground out to second, and that's out number 1. Had he been eager, he would have stroked a base hit. You would think eager would be a negative quality, but sometimes it's not. Here's Jake Atz. 1, 2, 3. That's flash and fresh again. Well, he's fresh, but he's not flash, so it will just be a ground out to short. It will not be a strikeout. So 2 down for Jiggs Donahue. 2.36, double control. He does not have the double control. So that will be a walk to Jiggs Donahue. So Jiggs Donahue, and I am doing automated steals. I'm not going to steal unless the game book tells me that the player steals, like when he's active or something. But I'm not going to do any manual steals. Here's Lee Tannehill. 4.46. Is the pitcher a star? He's a semi-star. The dot gives it to him, so it will be a ground out to second. That very well could have been a single, but since he's a star, it took that hit away, and that will end the inning. So we go to the 5th, no score from either side. Now both pitchers revert to semi-freshness as we're now in the 5th inning. And it will be Claude Rossman, followed by Coughlin and Thomas. 1.33. The pitcher is blank. Is the batter a slugger? He's a semi-slugger, but the sire die says no. So he is not a slugger. He would have had a home run if he was, but instead he flies to left. And that's 1 away. Hello, Captain Carl. Good to see you. Hello, Mr. Gudeman. I know you don't follow History Maker all that much, but these are the 1908 cards I created for the DeadBall era, for the DeadBall season. Here's Bill Coughlin. 3.45. Again, it's asking, is the catcher iron? But once again, the Chicago catcher Sullivan is gold, so he's not iron. He's asking if he has a good eye. Yes, he does. So it's a check swing for a ball. It will not be a strikeout. A lot of the guys in the DeadBall era didn't strike out much. They had good eyes. So that takes us to the umpire chart. And like I said, there were only 2 umpires for this game assigned. Silk O'Laughlin is behind the plate, and Jack Egan is at first. They are both respected and strict. And we're going to the umpire chart with the bases empty. And that is a 3-4. Questionable umpire at second. No, he's not questionable at second. So if he was questionable, he called batter out at second despite a late throw. The other umpire rules him safe for a double. So Bill Coughlin will crack a double, and he's in there safely since the umpire, Jack Egan, it was not questionable. So he didn't call him out. He called him safe as he should have been. And that's a double for Coughlin. I'll circle that as an umpire check. First umpire check of the game. And here comes Ira Thomas. Ira Thomas, 3.55 for Ira Thomas. Get back to the regular chart. 3.55 is asking, is the pitcher struggling? No, he's not. Is the batter a champion? Ira Thomas is a semi-champion. This time the dot is there. So that's going to be a double to left. He doesn't have a sigma rating of any kind to change it to a triple. But as a double to left, that will score the run. And we got the first run of the ball game. Back-to-back doubles by the Tigers. And Ira Thomas, the catcher, with an RBI double, puts the Tigers ahead 1-0. Here's Charlie O'Leary, the shortstop. 3.56, that's a left-right split check. He's a lefty, he's a righty, so that's a base hit, and that will score another run. On lead dive 3, get 2 bases. But that's the left-right split base hit. That's where the splits come in. He's a righty, and he's a lefty, 3.56. If you're not the same handedness, you get a base hit. So 2-0 Tigers. And I'll bring up the pitcher, Seaver. .245. Is the batter a hero? Seaver is not a hero. So he'll pop it out to second for out number 2. And that was in red, so we're going to the experience chart. McIntyre's an icon and White's an icon. So we got icon against icon. Icon against icon on this experience at bat. 2 runs are already in. Runner at first, 2 outs. We get a 1-6. Icon pitcher, yes he is. It says fools batter into swinging it inside pitch for a ground out to end the inning. But 2 runs come across the plate. Tigers strike first and take a 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the 5th. And it'll be Sullivan, White, and Hahn due up for the White Sox. 1-3-6. 1-3-6 is asking, is the pitcher an ace? He's a semi-star, not an ace. Is he whiffer or cold? He's a semi-whiffer. The dot gives it to him. So that'll be yet another strikeout. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Sullivan, not at Schaefer. But he's a semi-whiffer, so it will be a strikeout for Seaver. That's only his 2nd strikeout of the game. But he gets the strikeout, and now it brings up Doc White, pitcher. Doc White will swing it. Remember, the Tigers won this game. The White Sox won this game real world, 15-8. That's a 1-1-4. That's a freshness check, but the dot didn't give it to him, so he's not fresh. Is he sad sack or patient? He's neither one. He's a semi-utility, but he's not sad sack. So he's going to single to right field. How about that? Doc White will single. How do you like that? Doc White singles, and we're going to the chemistry chart because that's in purple. Both teams are going to be neutral by default on chemistry. Yes, Jeff, I do have a score sheet right here. I'll bring it in after the inning is over and show you. But I've got this set up for the base runners for this game because that's easier to follow than my score sheet is. All right, so we got a chemistry check between Ed Hahn and Ed Seaver. A couple of Eds there. Both are neutral. Both teams are neutral. 3-6. Batting team harmony. No, they're not harmonious, so it won't be a double. Instead, it'll be a fly to left. And that is out number 2. So 2 down, and that's going to bring up fielder Jones, the center fielder. Back on the regular chart, 2-3-3. A 2-3-3. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? He is a semi-ace, which qualifies. I'm sorry, we're over here on fielder Jones. My bad. He's a semi-star, but the dot doesn't give it to him, so he doesn't get that. Is he a slugger? No, he's a scrapper. He's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So fielder Jones flies out to end the inning. At the end of 5 complete, it is the Tigers 2 and the White Sox nothing. As we look at the score sheet, like I said, there were only 2 umpires in the game. Silk O'Laughlin is the home plate umpire. Jack Egan patrols the bases. The game is at Southside Park, but it's not rated by Strat, so by History Maker, so I just called it neutral. The game was played April 18th, 2000, April 14th, 1908. Sox won at Real Get World 15-8. The only runs in the game, the 2 runs, a double on Coughlin on the umpire chart, another double brought him in, and then the single on the left-right split chart brings Thomas in. Other than that, Chicago hasn't done anything offensively. So we start the top of the 6th, and Doc White going to try to hang in there a little longer, facing Schaefer. Hey, Captain, I was thinking about possibly getting the Fall Classic version of this set. I don't know if you've, how much you've used it or whatever, but I was certainly had thought about maybe get the PDF. 256, pitcher's not a struggler. Is Schaefer a champion? He is not. He's also not patient. So I have infield drama for the White Sox. See if that decider die makes the partial. Nope, they're going to be neutral. So the only shortstop is the only iron. Everybody else is neutral. So they're trying to avoid a shortstop role. 2-4, second baseman, Gold. No, he's not Gold. So it'll be an error. It'll be an error on the second baseman for the White Sox. Atz. So Atz boots it. E4. That'll put a runner at first base on that error. Can't blame Doc White on that one. That play should have been made. And here's Sam Crawford, center fielder. 1-3-4. Goal catcher, yes. Again, Sullivan's a goal catcher, so that will be a strikeout, except for the fact that Crawford has a good eye. So instead of a strikeout, it will be a ground out with the runners advancing. So that good eye takes away the strikeout. So it doesn't say in the book where he grounds it to. I'll just say he grounds it to second with the runner advancing. So Schaefer is now at second base with 1 out for Ty Cobb. White to Cobb. 4-4-5. Is the pitcher a workman? No, he's not a workman. Is Cobb patient? He's semi-eager. So he's going to ground to first. That'll get the runner to third, but now there are 2 outs. So Cobb, uncharacteristically, is 0 for 3 in this game. And now with 2 outs and the base is clear, a runner at third, rather, it is Claude Rossman in what Strat-O-Matic would call a clutch situation. 1-4-5. Pitcher's not a struggler, so it's going to be a ground out to first, and that's going to end the inning. So Doc White avoids more trouble, keeps the score at 2-0. And now for the White Sox, we got Patsy Doherty, Parent, and Atz due up against Seaver. 2-2-5. Is the pitcher a star? He is a semi-star, and the dot gives it to him this time. So it's a ground out to the infielder of our choice. We'll say he grounds it out to short. So a 6-3 ground out by Doherty. 1 away for Freddie Parent / Perrant. 5-5-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No, he is not an ace. Is the batter a sad sack? He is utility, but not a sad sack. So that's a double to right field. Parent or Perrant, however it's pronounced, because he wasn't a sad sack, he got a double out of that. So a double by Parent / Perrant, and here is Atz. So I don't know if anybody knows exactly how it's supposed to be pronounced. So here's Atz, 2-3-4. I'm sorry, 2-3-5. Is pitcher wild? No. Is he eager? Atz is not eager. So he will ground to second. That'll get the runner to third, but now there are 2 away. So it's going to be all up to Jiggs Donahue. It's up to Jiggs Donahue to get it done. Runner at third, 2 down. Get a 4-4-6. Is the pitcher a star? He's a semi-star, but the dot says no. Is the batter sad sack, utility, or patient? He is utility, so he will take a called strike 3 because of the fact that he's a utility, which is a low average hitter. He's just a slight above a sad sack. Utility is one thing on the food chain above a sad sack, which isn't saying much. But that means since he was utility, if he hadn't been utility, he would have gotten a single. But he's such a bad hitter, he makes the out here. All right, now we're in the 7th inning. Both pitchers Actually, White will lose his semi-fresh quality from here on. Seaver keeps it because he's got a shutout going, but White is no longer fresh at all. But White is set to bat third next inning or in the bottom of the inning, so they're going to try to get White through the inning here. Against Bill Coughlin. Whoa, triple ones. That's awful. Triple ones is awful. Is he an ace? He's a semi-ace, but the dot says no. Is the batter a scrapper? He is a scrapper. So instead of a home run, it'll just be a double. So they got to break there the fact that Coughlin was a scrapper. That's a second double for Coughlin. He's 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. Scrapper cost him a home run. If he hadn't been a scrapper, he'd had a home run. But he has obviously no power there. Thomas, 1-3-3. Pitcher is blank. Is he a slugger? No, he's a scrapper. So he'll fly to left. Won a lot of power back then in those days. So most guys are not going to be sluggers. They're most often going to be scrappers or semi-scrappers. Here's O'Leary, 3-6-6. He's not a pinch hitter, so he will fly to center. 2 down, and that'll bring up Seaver, the pitcher, with 2 outs and a runner at second. He's pitching a shutout. You're not taking him out. 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. It's a batter patient. Seaver is actually eager. So he will ground to third unless he's a whiffer. He's a semi-whiffer, but the dot says no, so it won't be a strikeout. It'll just be a ground out to third to end the inning. And that's going to do it for Doc White. So Doc White will go 7 innings. Let's see how many hits he gave up. We know he gave up the 2 runs. He gave up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 5 hits. He gave up 5 hits. 3 of them were back-to-back-to-back. That's what got him into trouble. Let's see, did he walk? He didn't walk anybody. And he struck out 5. So that is the line score. Oops, if I can get it in here correctly. That is the line score for Doc White. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. He will be replaced because he's going to bat third in the inning, and they will need a new pitcher and a pinch hitter. So Seaver's back out. He'll be facing Tannehill, Sullivan, and a pinch hitter. And we'll figure out who the pinch hitter is going to be. Looks like they're going to go to John Anderson off the bench. So we're going to have Tannehill, Sullivan, and Anderson are your scheduled hitters for the Sox. So Anderson will do the pinch hitting once his time comes around. And then in the bullpen for the White Sox, they've got a couple of choices. They've got Ed Walsh, who did pitch relief in the beginning of the season. So I think we're going to use Ed Walsh. He did do some relieving in the beginning of the season. He came in as he got more known as a starter later on, but at the beginning of the year, he was a relief pitcher. So Ed Walsh will be the new pitcher coming on for the White Sox. But right now, we have Tannehill facing Seaver. That's a 1-3-6. Is he an ace? He's a semi-star, so he's not an ace. Whiffer or cold? He's not a whiffer, and he's not cold. He's neutral. So it's infield drama for the Tigers. There's a dot there, so that means Schaefer is iron, and it means Coughlin is iron, and it means O'Leary is iron. So all 3 infielders other than first baseman are iron. We get a 2-2 on the infield drama. Pitcher gold. That's an interesting take. He's actually iron, so he's not gold. So it'll be an error on the pitcher. An error on Ed Seaver. He boots it, and Tannehill will reach on the E1 due to, I don't know if it's due to the glove size or the unkeptness of the infield or just bad fundamentals. I don't know, but a lot of high error players in this game. That's why the ERAs are so low, because a lot of the runs were unearned. Here's Billy Sullivan. That's a 2.55 for Sullivan. That asks, is the pitcher a star? He's a semi-star. This time the doc gives it to him. So that would be a strikeout unless he has a good eye, which he does not have. So that's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Seaver. And now we get the pinch hitter, John Anderson. He is a semi-hero, which means he hit about, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere in the neighborhood of about 270 or so. So a decent hitter, John Anderson. We get a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No, he's not. So he's going to ground it to third, and with a lead die of 1 and a runner at first, that's a double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3 double play takes care of the White Sox in the 7th inning. So Seaver will keep his semi-freshness because he's pitching a shutout. He'll carry that into the 8th inning. So Anderson fails in the pinch. And now new pitcher for the White Sox is Ed Walsh, and he's got a stellar card. He's an A-star semi-flash with double control. Can't get a whole lot better than that. He'll be facing the top of the order, McIntyre, Schaefer, and Crawford. I'm sure they had outfield fences somewhere. But like I said, History Maker did not rate Southside Park, so I just gave him a neutral quality by default. Here's McIntyre against Walsh, 2-5-6. Walsh certainly is not a struggler. Is he champion or patient? He's semi-patient. Dot says he's patient, so he's going to walk. So Matty McIntyre coaxes a leadoff walk off of Ed Walsh. And now we're going to have a bunt. So that's the way they did back in the day. They did small ball. So we're going to have a bunt here. So the attempted bunt in History Maker is pretty simplistic. You roll 1d6 and check this chart. If you roll a 6, you got to roll again. You might make an out. Anything other than a 6, you're in good shape. That's a 2. Active runner safe at first. Schaefer is active, so he actually beats this bunt out for a base hit. So he tried to give himself up, but he actually ends up beating it out for a base hit. So first and second, nobody out. And here comes Crawford. He's not going to bunt. He's too good of a hitter to bunt. They're going to have him swing away. 2-4-6, control pitcher. Yes, he's got double control. So what that means is whatever the result is, it happens twice in a row. So Walsh will get a fielder's choice on the first ground out. And actually, let's take a look, because actually with the ball hit to the pitcher is considered in, even though the infield's back, the pitcher is considered in, or at least that's the way I'm going to play it. So with the infield in and a lead die of 2, and let's see, runner on first and second. Well, you can't play the infield in with first and second. So we'll do it the first time around. First and second here. Infield is back. And a lead die of 2 is a fielder's choice runner to third. All right, so that's going to be the first result. Is we're going to get a fielder's choice, putting runners on the corners. Schaefer's out at second, 1-6. Puts runners on the corners, 1 out. Ty Cobb comes up, but you get the exact same result. This time the infield's in. Runners on the corners, infield in, lead die of 2, batter out at first, runner on first to second, runner on third holds. So it's a ground out by Cobb. Going to second is Crawford, but holding at third is McIntyre. So now second and third with 2 outs. And Ty Cobb really hasn't had much to say in this game. He's gotten some bad situations. That double control kind of took the bat right out of his hands. All right, here's Rossman now. Second and third, 2 outs for Rossman. 2-2-6 is the batter hit by the pitch. There is a dot there, so he is hit by the pitch. Rossman gets plunked, and it's going to load the bases. So now the bases are full of Tigers. And stepping to the plate is Bill Coughlin with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And now Ed Walsh trying to get out of this mess. 3-4-5. He's not an iron catcher. He's a gold catcher. Does the batter have a good eye? Coughlin does have a good eye, so he will not strike out. We will go to the umpire chart again. That's the importance of the good eye right there. And a lot of guys back in this period had the good eye because they didn't strike out much. So we're going to the umpire chart with the bases loaded. And again, both umpires, there are only 2 of them in 1908 in this game. They are both respected and strict. 2-5. We'll check the chart on this one. 2-5. Bases loaded. 2-5. Questionable umpire at first. No, they're respected and strict. If he was questionable at first, throw to second gets runner, batter ruled out at first, double play. Other umpires rule batter safe. Well, they do get the runner out, so that's the important part because there were 2 outs already. So it is going to be considered a 3 to 6 fielder's choice to end the inning. It just a questionable umpire at first didn't allow a double play to be turned, but that was irrelevant in this case. They do get the force, and that takes care of business. And Walsh escapes. So now that brings up Ed Seaver. He is still keeping his semi-freshness because he's pitching a shutout. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Hahn, Jones, and Doherty for the, let's see here, Hahn, 1, 2, 3, flash and fresh. Well, he doesn't have the flash quality, so it's just going to be a ground ball to short. He was fresh, but he didn't have the flash quality. So ground ball to short to start the 8th inning. 1 away. And that's going to bring up Fielder Jones. And you can correct me on this, Captain Carl. I believe he was the player manager for the White Sox in 1908. 1, 2, 3, same exact play. It's going to be another ground ball to short. So 2 up and 2 down for Patsy Doherty. Ed Seaver is rolling along here. 3-6-6. He's not a pinch hitter, so it's going to be a fly to center. So 8 shutout innings turned in by Ed Seaver. And we go to the 9th. Still 2-0 favor of the Tigers. Now, keep in mind, the White Sox won this game real world 15-8, so we're way off the mark there. Here's Ira Thomas. 3-3-4. Is pitcher an ace or a star? He isn't. He's both. So it's going to be a pop-up to first base, 1 away. It's not an either-or with Ed Walsh. He's both, so it's pop out to first. And that brings up O'Leary. The pitcher spot is on deck. They may pinch hit for him just to get a fresh arm in the game. 1-1-2. Flash. Does the pitcher have flash? He's got semi-flash, but the dot says no. Is the batter a sad sack? He is not a sad sack. So it says check with scorer. That means we either got a error or a hit. So there is a micro chart called check with scorer right here that talks about checking for an error or a hit based on this D6 roll. That's a 3. It says base hit off the glove of either the first or third baseman. It really doesn't matter. It's a base hit. So O'Leary gets the base hit, and they will go ahead and take Seaver out, and they'll bring in a pinch hitter. And the pinch hitter will be Davy Jones. And the new pitcher coming in to try to close the deal. A lot of these guys did a lot of starting and very little relieving, but they didn't have any dedicated relief pitchers most of the time. So the cards are going to reflect starting pitcher when really, they came in relief as well. And both these guys have come into relief in the games I saw. So we're going to look at George Mullen for the new pitcher. So Davy Jones will pinch hit, and then Mullen will come in as the new pitcher for Seaver, who went 8 shutout innings and is in line for the win. So Davy Jones going to pinch hit. Runner at first, 1 out. And that's a 1-2-3, flash and fresh. This time he gets it. But he kind of got a bad break because had he not been flashed, that would have been a ground ball double play. Instead, it's a strikeout. So it keeps the inning going. Davy Jones strikes out to keep the inning going. And now that will send up Matty McIntyre with 2 outs and a runner still at first. 2-5-6. Pitcher is not a struggler. Is he champion or patient? He is semi-patient. Dot gives it to him, so that'll be a walk. So Walsh has been a little shaky in his relief outing. Now 2 are on with 2 outs. And that's going to bring up Schaefer. Germany Schaefer. First guy I ever heard of with the first name of Germany, but there you go. 3-3-5 Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No, he's not a sad sack. He's going to single to right field, and he'll steal if he's not stoic. So he's going to steal. So the single is a two-base advancement that scores the run, and the runner's going to steal second base. So Schaefer with an RBI single for an insurance run sends McIntyre to third and scores Thomas to make it 3-0 Tigers. And then Schaefer's going to steal second base for good measure. So second and third now with 2 outs. And that brings up Sam Crawford. Don't want to walk Crawford because Ty Cobb's on deck. And that result was not in any color, so we just keep rolling. 3-4-5. Iron catcher again. But again, the catcher for the White Sox is gold. Good eye. Crawford has the good eye, so he will not strike out. We're going back to the umpire chart. Second and third with 2 outs. These good eyes are preventing these strikeouts. Again, strict and respected umpires. 2-6, and we are at the runner on second and third chart. And a 2-6 says respected umpire at home. Yes, he is. Runner on third ruled out at home. So they got the play at the plate. I'm not sure why they would do that with 2 outs, but they threw the plate. I guess the ground ball went to third, and he didn't have a chance to get the guy at first. Crawford, it runs pretty quickly, but they're going to get the play at home. It's going to go 5-2 on a fielder's choice. And a respected umpire called him out. A non-respected umpire would have said the runner scored, but he did not. So the run is across, and we'll go ahead and get the pitching total now for starter Seaver. So against Seaver, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 hits he gave up. No runs and 4 hits for Seaver. And let's see, walked 1, struck out 4, it looks like. Walked 1, struck out 4 is what I've got him for. And now Mullen takes over. Ed Walsh, he's going to go 2 innings. And he's going to give up a run, which was earned. And let's see what he did here. Gave up 1, 2, 3 hits I've got him for. He also walked a couple, very uncharacteristic, to walk 2 and hit a batter. So he had control issues. Despite being double control, he had control issues. And let's see, struck out 1, it looks like. All right, so top of the 9th we go. Last chance for the White Sox against George Mullen. Mullen will be the last hurrah. And it will be Parent, Atz, and Donahue due up for the White Sox. Last chance saloon. Mullen, 4, 5, 6. And I believe that's going to ask if the batter is patient, because the pitcher is blank. Yeah, is the batter patient? Parent, Parent, whatever he is, semi-eager, he's not patient. So he'll fly to center, and that's 1 away. And that's in purple, so we're going to the chemistry chart. Both teams are neutral by default on the chemistry chart for Atz. And we get a 33 on the chemistry chart. 33, pitching team dissonance. No, that if they were dissonant, it'd be a base hit. Otherwise, he grounds to first. So since they were neutral and not dissonant, it's a ground ball to first. 2 down, and it's up to Jiggs Donahue, the last chance for the White Sox. Mullen trying to finish it off. 1-3-5, we get an unusual play. The black die 1 is the ballpark. So we're going to the ballpark. We're going to the ballpark. And again, Southside Park, I just called it neutral by default because I did not have it wasn't rated by play.com. So we'd have a neutral ballpark, and we get a 56 on the neutral ballpark. And it says big ballpark. Outfielder makes grab along fence for a flyout. Otherwise, slugger or home run king wallops a home run. He's neither one. He's a scrapper, so it'll still be a flyout, and that will end the ball game. Ball game is over. The Detroit Tigers defeat the Chicago White Sox by the score of 3-0, despite the fact that the real score was 15-8 in favor of the Chicago White Sox. Tells you how that goes. 1 inning, nothing going on there. So for the Tigers, they got 3 runs on 8 hits, and the Tigers committed 2 errors. White Sox, no runs on 4 hits, and they committed just the one error, E4, just the one error, I think. So that's what we got for our score sheet. 3-8-2 for the Tigers, 0-4-1 for the White Sox. So I just wanted to try it out. I didn't see my friend Beatles Eternally in here, but maybe he'll catch this on the replay. And you can see how this game did with the dead ball players. One of the biggest changes is your cut down on strikeouts because of the good eye. I mean, there still were 10 strikeouts in the game, but it could have been a lot more without the good eye. So that certainly took care of things. And, of course, no home runs. So you get less strikeouts and more home runs. There were no stolen bases because the game engine – I'm sorry, there was one steal. The game engine only produced one steal. I didn't do any manual stealing. So that's it from there. Like I said, I had a lot of fun creating these cards. I made them as accurate as I could possibly get with the information I had. I was going strictly by stats because I don't know anything about these players. So I went strictly by their stats using the player creation book that History Maker Baseball sells, which to me is part of the fun, is creating these cards and getting in your own little universe, particularly the fictional, which I'm doing the Ticonderoga Stooges. So I'll be doing game 2 of that tonight, probably a recording, though, probably not live. I'll probably record it tonight and maybe upload it tomorrow or something. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with that just yet. But anyway, there you go, 1908 Tigers and White Sox from Southside Park, and it was the Tigers coming out victorious. Interesting little thing here I forgot to take out. It says for personal use only. I don't know where that was in there from the template. I forgot to delete that part. Maybe you can't delete it. I don't know. But either way, or maybe that came off that may have come off of the that may be part of the little thing there, the little icon logo thing. It might be part for that. I'm not sure. But anyway, like I said, I know History Maker Baseball is a game that's kind of out there for some people, and they don't really find it all that appealing. I do. I particularly with the fictional sets, it's appealing, but it's not too bad with the real sets either. Although this is kind of in between because, yes, 1908 was a real season. These are real players, but I know nothing about 1908. I do have a book on 1908 called Crazy Eights or something like that, but I haven't read it yet. I just have it and haven't had a chance to do a whole lot with it. But for those that do follow the dead ball era, you can see some of your favorite names out there. But anyway, that was my attempt at it. Hope you all at least found it somewhat entertaining. And that's about all I got to say about that. Tomorrow morning, back to Strat-O-Matic. 1987 will be in Oakland for the Cleveland Indians against the Oakland A's. Tom Candiotti against Joaquin Andujar. That'll be tomorrow morning at 9 Eastern. And then sometime tonight, I'll probably record the Ticonderoga Stooges in my Baseball America fictional set. And these little crab envelopes is what I use to hold the players in, so they fit fairly well. So if I get the Detroit Tigers, just put them here, put my little header on top of there, and put the guys that weren't on the roster yet in the background and just slide them right on in. No problem whatsoever. Right now I'm in the middle of unperforating my 1984 Strat-O-Matic set, one of the sets I got from what I bought. The other 72 has already been divvied up, but I got to do 80. I need to do 84 and eventually do the 2020 Imagine set. So I'm working on that as well. All right. So again, History Maker Baseball. If you haven't tried it, it's really worth a try. I do think it's a lot of fun. The big selling point of this is that it's not a replay per se. You're not trying to necessarily replay what happened before. You're trying to start from opening day and work your way through and create your own history, write your own history, hence the name History Maker Baseball. So there you go, History Maker Baseball it is. And because my eyesight is not as good as it used to be, I got the supersized book. If you get the game, it won't come with this big book. It'll come with a book just like it, but just not quite as big. So, But anyway, that's good to go from here. Hope you all are having a good day, whatever you have going on in your world. I know it's a Monday, which sometimes can be a little bit not so great in a lot of worlds, but hey, it's a short week because of the Christmas holiday, so that's something to look forward to. Oh, I did a bunch of games from 1990s. I started the season with it. The only reason I stopped doing it is because it seemed like that most people didn't care to see it. So, because I don't usually worry about how many views I get or whatever, but I do kind of gauge that by what, you know, if it's something that's not really people aren't engaging with, I figured people would rather see some other games on the channel besides that. So I stopped that. I mean, it doesn't mean I can't bring it back because I haven't. I mean, I could just pick right up where I left off if that's something people want to see. And I've got the Strat-O-Matic computer to score everything with and keep the stats on and everything. So I could definitely go back to that if enough people wanted me to do so. Um, right now, the main project is the 1987 American League Strat-O-Matic, and then the secondary project is the fictional set, Baseball America set, and then other things will just be one-off games off, here and there. So anyway, that's good to go from here. Hope you all have a great day. Enjoy whatever you've got going on for the day or the evening, whatever the case may be. If you're traveling, be safe out there on the roads, or if you, heaven forbid, have to get on a plane, boy, I don't envy you. I will say that. I have not flown a plane since 1990. So when I flew, last time I flew on a plane, I could keep my shoes on, and all I had to do was walk through a metal detector, and I was good to go. That's how long ago it's been since I've been on the airplane. So, and I haven't missed it one bit. If I need to go anywhere, I'll drive. I've been to Florida a couple times and I drove. Didn't have any problem doing that. So anyway, that's just me. And sometimes I'm weird. I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of that. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed that presentation of History Maker Baseball. Like I said, I created these cards using the card creator, which is you can get that for free from the Play. I believe it's in either the Facebook group or the frequently asked questions on the Play site. Most likely, if you're really interested, go to the play.com Facebook page. And I believe in the files section, there is a template, Excel template, that you can download. And if you have that, you can create the cards. And I did a separate video on these card creations, very detailed videos. So you can go back and check that out if you like. But that's part of the fun to me is doing the player creation. To me, that's half the fun. But that's just me. What else can I say? All right, that is going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I'll see you all down the road.